Am I the asshole for no longer wanting to allow my now ex-partner of almost a year to stay at my apartment because she's not currently stable enough to get a place of her own? My ex-girlfriend, 33 female, and I, 31 female, first met in a whirlwind romance in May of 2023. A few months into dating, she fell on hard times, and I offered to let her stay with me for a few months while she got on her feet. I am an extremely independent person and love living on my own, and having my own space is very important to me. But I really cared for her and wanted to help at the time, especially with the expectation that it would only be a few months. However, a few months has now turned into 2.5 years, and we technically broke up almost a year ago. Throughout her time here, she's had several jobs. However, the positions were seasonal and/or didn't align with her morally, so she quit. When she first arrived, I was of course not charging her rent, as I was genuinely trying to help her get on her feet. However, after living with me rent-free for almost a year, I realized she probably wouldn't have the means to move out on her own anytime soon. So we began to go half on rent and expenses. However, it only lasted maybe 5 months until we officially called it quits, and she couldn't afford to pay her half and save up to move out, because she's only been able to hold down a part-time position for some time now, so she is still struggling. I feel bad she is in this position still, but my lease for this apartment is up in October, and I plan to end it and start my solo journey, as I am ready to move on with my life and start anew. However, I am conflicted with what I know I deserve and desire, which is separate lives, and doing what's right. My ex has expressed that her financial instability makes her feel scared for her future. She fears she will end up homeless if I stop carrying the load for her, as she doesn't have any friends and she's not close with her family. She feels like because we are not toxic, have healthy communication, and get along for the most part, that she doesn't see why I can't just continue to help her out until she is stable enough to do so on her own. She often gets emotional and upset about the reality of having to figure out her living situation in the next few months, and reminds me that if it were her in my shoes, she would continue to help her ex for as long as they needed. I can fully understand her fear, but it's been almost 2.5 years of me supporting her, and I really need to know if, am I the asshole for no longer wanting to house my now ex-partner of almost a year?